Fantastic
Oh,
Four,
yes.
First Steps.
I love this movie.
A lot of us have, all four of us have already seen this movie.
Yep.
I liked it. I do understand why it's flopping on the box office because yes, superhero fatigue is a real thing, but I don't believe in superhero fatigue. I believe in bad quality fatigue.
Part of it.
And because of that bad quality, you're seeing the domino effect because now people are not invested.
Now here exactly, and that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to say that it's not Fantastic Four. It's another superhero movie. It might be good, but do I really want to take that
another
chance
Marvel movie?
Everything that has been happening in the past, I really don't know if I want to do that. That's what we're experiencing.
That's the same thing that I kind of attributed to Thunderbolts, because a lot of you're right. It is the domino effect because you have so many years of crap that now everyone is very, because back in the day, like when yes, please, I want that. Back in the day when yes, there you go. Back in the day when the early days of the MCU, when you got to a point where people would just show up because it was the Marvel logo. Nowadays, people are like, do I really want to show up for a Marvel movie?
Exactly.
Well, I think there's another issue too that we have to highlight is I think what's also happened is now Disney has trained the Marvel audience to wait for streaming.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the big problem.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's like this, man. Look, 45 days. Let me tell you something. Back in my day, films used to stay in theaters for 4, 5, 6 months. Mm-hmm. There was nothing to take or divide your attention away from seeing that experience on the big screen. And then you couldn't wait until HBO or somebody picked it up way back in the day, or another, or Cinemax picked it up. Pay-per-view. Exactly. Because you couldn't wait then to get that film and possibly own that film. But now that streaming is here, the studios make deals with these streaming companies to only leave their films in the theaters for so long, and it is biting them in the ass. And you're finding out that streaming is not as popular or as profitable as it is. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to go ahead because I'm getting ready to leave soon. I'm not going to stay through the whole thing, unfortunately. I got my bug out at 11 o'clock. But I wanted to give my review first of Fantastic Four. I wanted to see this with my family, but I couldn't. It was just the schedule conflict. So I saw it first, and then my wife and my daughter saw it second. They liked it too. So I gave it an 8.5. There are so many elements, and I was talking with Rox about this in the backstage. There are so many elements about this film that Marvel got right, that it is a shame that they shit the bed so long with their multiverse that nobody trusts them anymore.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
This was the perfect summer film to bring your family to, especially if you like superhero films. I thought that the film was great. I thought especially the dynamic between Sue and Mr. Terrific was great. I thought that Pedro Pascal played he did it. He played him. He did a great job, unexpected to a lot lot of people thought, oh, yeah, and everybody's like, hey, he did a fantastic job. So fantastic, there it is. Yeah, but yeah, I thought that he played a great Reed Richards. I liked that family dynamic between all of them, even including Ben. They all acted like a family. They all stuck by each other. There was no, you know what I mean? There was no fracturing of that family dynamic. No screaming at each other like certain films you see when they're all just screaming at each other.
No, that doesn't mean they didn't have disagreements, because they did have disagreements.
They did, but they Sue and Reed, they did it in a way that what a husband and wife would discuss things. Powers or superpowers or not. That was a husband and wife couple that discussed a problem with their family, including their child. And I thought that was brilliant how they pulled that off. So I thought that they balanced Johnny Storm perfectly. He wasn't over the top a womanizer. He was, you know, he was still kind of that glib, kind of.
He was a modern woman. He was modern.
He was right on the level where he wasn't trying to be a Neanderthal, basically. And I liked that. I liked the way they played that. But he was a serious guy. I like the fact that they played him as smarter than he actually was. He was actually a pretty intelligent dude. So I did like that part. Galactus, of course. That Galactus was
much better
awesome,
than what they did before.
Than what they did before.
He's not a cloud.
My only gripe with this film is, and Ross will probably agree with this, is because they left so much on the cutting room floor. There was a lot we didn't see, and there was an imbalance in the pacing, and you can tell that in the third act. Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, I see Zack Snyder all over this place.
Yes. We talked about this.
Just coming out of nowhere and dropping down and grabbing the earth and up. Come on,
and
bro.
Also,
the
ship.
The boat.
Yeah.
The boat. When the thing is pulling the boat, that was a direct reference. Yeah. I put up a screenshot on my Twitter page of that with Man of Steel.
It's legit. It would be hilarious if Galactus grabbed a giant spear.
But for my money, I'm getting it on disc. That's I've never owned a Fantastic Four film, but I like that film so much. I like the aesthetic of it, the way they portrayed the technology in the film was pretty awesome. But yeah, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. So that's my review.
Jared, there was a scene where Galactus ripped his hands through the ground, just like I think it was in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
it was. Which one was it? Was it Steppenwolf who did that, or
both?
was it
both?
Steppenwolf did it. Yeah.
What I'm saying would be hilarious if after that he also hit the spear in the ground and his logo appeared.
But like there was so much Zack Snyder all over this movie. It was like I was calling it as I was seeing it on the film. I'm like, there it is. So yeah. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done.
I like I said, the people who did really go, obviously they wanted to see Galactus was like a major highlight of that film. Me personally, I like Sue Storm. So of Fantastic Four, Sue Storm is my favorite character. I like her powers and her abilities. I love the way they showcase the fact that she can literally and Reed was like, wow, you can do that? And how she made her stomach kind of transparent. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you see the baby. That was pretty slick. Yeah. So I loved it, man. Rox, what about you, bro?
Before I get to that, let's give Mike Siebert a shout out here for the $10 super chats. Phil,
Mike Siebert, thanks for this $10 super chat, brother. Fantastic Four was a good movie, better than Diaper Man. Hey, shout out to you, Mike. Look, Fantastic Four is what Superman should have been. I'm not gonna lie. That's how that should have been. If you're gonna do an ensemble film, have them all have a dynamic like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Have that type of family dynamic if you're gonna do an ensemble film like that. But yeah.
Also, don't have it where the alien sent to protect Earth was actually sent there for very nefarious reasons to breed. I'm sorry, I will never forgive that movie for doing that.
That's James Gunn, bro. That's all James Gunn.
All right, let's give Mike a drop.
And who here is a key grip? You. Hit that director in the face. Really fucking hard.
Sorry, man.
Ow, ow, ow.
Oh. I love that movie.
But no, like I really enjoyed Fantastic Four. I thought it was a great movie. I do agree with Charles when he said that there was a lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor because you
Have a good night, Dennis. See you next time.
Later, Dennis. But yeah, you do feel it. You specifically feel it in the third act. There's a scene that they show in the trailer where Ben is about to say the line and Johnny's egging him on to say the line, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, say it, right? When that actually plays out in the movie and I'm watching it, when you see it in the trailer, you would think that there's some lead up to that, like some lead up dialogue, because that would be like a big payoff, right?
Right.
When it plays out in the movie, you could tell that something was chopped before that because that dialogue came out of nowhere. It was it just came literally out of
And in the third act, remember when so the teacher was at one place, first they were underground and suddenly she was somewhere else, like in the you know what I mean? You could tell that there was something in between there that
So my other gripe with the movie was that I felt like Ben's story was underdeveloped. We didn't spend enough time with this version of the Thing. There's a few moments that you get where you kind of see him reflecting on his life, how he meets the teacher, and you could kind of tell that he's got some feelings for her, but it kind of went nowhere. They never really expanded on that, which I kind of thought was a wasted opportunity. Now, I understand that they don't want to rehash the same story from the first Fantastic Four movie, because that first Fantastic Four movie from the early 2000s, that kind of covered Ben's story. It was all there, so I could see why they tried to avoid that, but it definitely felt like something was missing there. I also, like, you guys all stuck around to the very end and saw the cameo, right? So spoilers, I mean, this is a spoiler review, guys. Yeah, we get a glimpse of Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom at the very end, but we don't see his face. There have been rumors going around online that part of the reason why we don't see his face is because Disney didn't want to dish out the money to have him in this movie. They didn't want to pay him.
I heard it's actually him.
I heard it's actually him too, but I don't buy into the rumor that it's because they didn't want to pay him. I think it's going to connect somehow to the story. Because if you see what happens, it was, I think the little boy's name is Franklin. Is that his name?
Yeah.
So Franklin is touching his face in that final scene, right? So I think there's going to be a payoff somewhere in the future films where what we see, Franklin is actually healing him, is healing his face. That's why I think they didn't want to show that. But
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
But no, I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was heartfelt. I love the family dynamic that Charles had pointed out, and I felt like all the actors were really on point. We're going to get to a topic a little bit later where we talk about Pedro Pascal fatigue, but I didn't feel that in this movie. I thought his acting was on point for a Richard Reeves. I thought he did very, very well. I only wish he didn't have that dirt stash.
Reed Richards.
Richard
you
Reed?
said it backwards. You said Richard.
Reed Richards.
Richard Reed. In the rocks.
Sorry, dude. I just wish he didn't have that dirt stash. I wish he had either grown a full beard.
Yeah, the Rocks didn't like the stash, man.
Because we were talking about the previous incarnation of Mr. Fantastic in what movie was that, Charles? In Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yeah. We're talking about John Krasinski's version when he had the full beard and
full beard. So I thought Pedro could have pulled that off. He just would have had the same look like he did from The Last of Us, right? Grow up the beard. It would have been perfect. But no, he kept the dirt stash, and it's like, okay. But other than that, I thought he was great. I thought his acting was on point. The birth scene in the spaceship was phenomenal. It was so phenomenal, man. That whole chase, that whole chase sequence where they're trying to escape Galactus for the first time was incredible. I do have one more slight criticism, is that the storyline with the Silver Surfer, her name was Shala Ball. Was that her name? Shala Ball. So that storyline where they were trying to kind of make it seem like her and Johnny had a thing going, it just completely went nowhere. It really went nowhere.
It was almost like you could tell she was like impressed by him. She was like,
Well, wait. Hang on. Did it go nowhere? Because it was all build up to her him eventually talking to her and turning her against Galactus.
But what happens? She just fucks off, and there's nothing.
Well, yeah, that's where the extended cut is supposed to come in.
Right?
I'm like, where were you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was more of a dialogue between them two, and him asking, why are you doing this, and what is the reason? I mean, they showed her backstory, which I did love. I wish they would have actually expounded more on that as well, because it was pretty sad. But
and like, because I really did dig Johnny in this version. I thought it was a great Johnny, and I wanted to see more of it. I wanted to see more of whatever he had going on with this version of the Silver Surfer. It just kind of feels like opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
All right. So, Charles,
go ahead and
about,
before you. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and dip out, guys. Thank you so much again, Phil, Rocks, and Jared. Man, thank you so much for coming out, man. I'm gonna let these fellas handle it. I'm gonna go rest my tired eyes because I've been running all day. So, hey, Phil, when you get to the WBD stock and the Aircut shoe market, you know what you're supposed to do for me, and I want to see it happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Won't be here, so you know what you got to do. All right. Thank y'all. I love you guys. Thanks to everybody for coming out. Shout out to the chat. Everybody, much love. I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Oh, let me see. We got some stuff coming down the pipe. So we are working on, for myself, we are working on a segment that I'm going to do. I'm still trying to come up with a name, but it is still tied to the Lethal Geeks. But basically, it's kind of like a short form review, spoiler talk, talking about movies, films, and all of that stuff. Just kind of, maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so. Yeah, kind of like one shots, but yeah, it's going to be attached to that. I'm going to have my own, but it's going to be my own segment. So we are working on that as we speak. So that'll be coming on down the pipe. You too, TJ, man. I will rest easy, you too. Everybody, thank you so much again. Everybody, good night.
Have a good night, Charles.
Take care, Charles.